Update: Am I the asshole for refusing to put my boyfriend on the title of my house or make him a beneficiary? Update on my last post. I listened to a lot of your feedback and talked to my boyfriend after my post. He seemed weird in our talk. He's been weird a lot lately, but I have been excusing it. He told me that he said to put him on as an insurance beneficiary partially as a joke, but then when I went off on my tangent, including offering up that he'll never go on my house title either, even though he never mentioned it, that he got offended and reacted poorly. He said he really did think I was going off about all that in retaliation for his no to marriage talks, so he was left with a bitter taste. Which I get. I can be more forceful than I realize, and I am naturally passive-aggressive. He said I didn't have to put him on anything, but he needs me to understand that I am it for him. He wants to make his life with me. Things seemed to be better after this. That weekend he asked if I wanted to go on a hike. It was peak season for the leaves changing, and there is this waterfall he suggested we go to. We get to the waterfall and he pulls an envelope out of his jacket with a tiny bow on it and says it's a present for me. I open it and it's a receipt from a jewelry store. I was confused, but I see he had the date of purchase highlighted and circled with a heart. It was early August, before the talks we had where he said he never wanted to get married. I turn and there he is with a ring. I said yes. He said he knew I would never believe that he had the ring before all this without the receipt. That his attitude and comments when I started asking about marriage was to fool me, so I didn't get suspicious because this was the plan all along. He wanted an autumn proposal in a beautiful location since it's my favorite season. Money he has been saving after moving in with me, since I charge him a much smaller amount than he was previously paying, went to the ring. He saved money for over a year because he knew when he moved in with me that he was going to eventually ask me to marry him. So honestly, this is the best case scenario. We talked after too. When we get married we will add each other as beneficiaries on our insurance policies. And we decided there's no need to put him on my title even after we get married. I really appreciate everyone's comments on that last post. I read all of them and most people were genuinely concerned and offered wonderful advice and support.
Oh man, what a bumbling way to hide a proposal. This will make a great story down the line though, and I bet you two will laugh about it quite a bit. Glad it worked out.
We learned from Chandler that this is not how one covers an intent to propose. Anyway, congrats on actually communicating. Congratulations. But I really wish he had realized that you can surprise someone with an engagement without forcing them to go through the emotional toll of thinking their partner is anti-marriage. He could have told you he was open to marriage but wasn't ready yet, and still surprised you. He really created a lot of unnecessary drama and angst with his approach.
Info: Is your name Monica? Do you have a fiancé called Chandler?
I heard you were going on a hike. I was like, will he try to push you off, and was hoping you give him the money from the insurance after you're gone. Then you said he proposed, so I was like, phew, she's safe. But then I realized if you died you would not post an update.
That his attitude and comments when I started asking about marriage was to fool me, so I didn't get suspicious. Typical. Congratulations on the engagement.
I don't understand how people can be so foolish. He risked a breakup level fight to trick you?
I find it cruel and manipulative that in order to create a surprise proposal he thought the best course of action would be to convince you that he didn't want to ever get married. Surely there are better ways to go about surprising you without causing you distress for months.
Bletch. Engagements shouldn't be a surprise. The proposal can be, but a couple should be talking about and on the same page and have talked about serious things. One should know the proposal is coming because you've talked about and agreed you want to get married and what that marriage and your future will look like. The whole "I'm not one for marriage" surprise "here's the ring" is so I value having a good story than I value moving with my partner side by side, making decisions together and not causing them distress. But that's me, and you're happy, so congratulations.
I'm glad it worked out, but I would recommend to anyone reading not to lie about major life decisions like whether or not you want to get married. I don't know anyone who had a truly surprise marriage proposal. It should be something that you have already had in-depth conversations about to make sure you're on the same page. In most cases it will backfire because people will take you at your word and go find someone else who has compatible life goals.
What should my proposal be like? What does my girlfriend love? I am naturally passive-aggressive. Autumn. My favorite season. She loves autumn and passive aggression. That's it. I'll propose to her passive-aggressively, surrounded by changing trees. It was peak season for the leaves changing. He pulls out a receipt from a jewelry store. He had the date of purchase highlighted and circled with a heart.
This is really gross in my opinion. I'm glad Op is happy, but both people should be on the same page before an engagement. Not lying about your intentions to fool someone.
Jesus Christ, I thought he was gonna murder you on a hike. Congrats. That being said, does he realize how moronic this move was? What would he have done if you broke up with him over his refusal to marry before he could propose? Or even worse, if you broke up with him and went straight to your friends and family for comfort? At the very least he should have said he wasn't quite ready yet, so then when you got to the waterfall he could whisper, "I'm ready," to you, then surprise you with the ring and receipts. But at least he proved this wasn't just a play to get the beneficiary and house title with the receipts.
I'm glad you're happy, but I'd be so pissed off. What an asshat.
Wow. Bless him. I'm so happy it worked out for you, Op. And congratulations on the engagement.
Congrats, Op, but what an emotional roller coaster. The lying, the fighting, him wanting to be a beneficiary, first, all centered around marriage. Look, I don't want to rain on your parade, but I'm highly suspicious that now he gets what he wants immediately. Don't look at all this rose-colored glasses and be a fool. Keep your eyes peeled because this is all too coincidental.
I'm not sure how no one's mentioned this, but his whole story seems super sketchy. Maybe I missed something, but it sounds like he decided to marry you after you told him he wouldn't be added as a beneficiary or co-owner of your house. It sounds like he changed his mind to ensure that he's entitled to your money. I'd go into this wearily. That his attitude and comments when I started asking about marriage was to fool me, so I didn't get suspicious because this was the plan all along. Sorry that is great, a manipulative and fucked up. You hurt your partner by telling them you don't actually want to get married anymore. And then watch them get more and more upset and uncertain with the relationship. Glad you're fine with it, but I would be incredibly pissed off and hurt.
Okay. So he put you through all that for nothing. That's actually really messed up and not even remotely romantic. He made you agree to compromise on something you wanted that was important to you. For a surprise. It could be a surprise without any of that bullshit. I'd have been so enraged if someone pulled that on me, but you do you, I guess. ETA, this post is like he's not a stubborn gold digger. He's just a lying emotional manipulator and everyone's like, congrats, eye roll. Sorry, but this is not a cute story or a happy ending. Didn't he call you an asshole when you said you wouldn't put him on your insurance? I don't understand why he couldn't say he's not ready yet or, someday we'll get married, instead of flat out lying.
Really happy for you, congrats. But yeah, I hope he realizes he pushed it really far with the whole calling you an asshole thing for not sharing finances and everything, straining the relationship in a way that could have been a deal breaker and would have really felt and looked like an ass if he'd brought this down on himself for a failed surprise. IDK, that was misguided, but I'm glad it all worked out for the both of you.
Jesus, men really need to stop pulling this shit when they plan to propose, cause one of these says their girl is straight up gonna leave them. Congrats on the engagement though. I'm glad it turned out that way for you.
Hey, just wanted to be sure that it is said, once you're married, get wills made, do it beforehand if practical. You can add a contingency for marriage if need be, and consider if you want to leave him the house or at least give him right of survivorship.
This is great except the last part about no reason to put him on the title after marriage. As a young widow who lost her husband unexpectedly 5 months ago, who is not on the title and there was no will, I will now have to spend thousands on a lawyer to get my husband's house through probate court to get it in my name. No one thinks about these things until they have to, because they always think there is enough time. If you aren't going to add him to the title, at least make a formal will where your wishes are known.
Congrats, Op. Can I just check, because I am naturally suspicious, there is no way he could have convinced the jewelry store to fudge the date, is there? I.e., it's not handwritten by a local jeweler, is it? Sorry, I shouldn't plant the seed, but it seems extreme to pretend he didn't want to get married.
Me reading, thinking he was luring her to her murder in the wilderness. Frowning face. Me realizing my dad proposed like this, and also, she's still alive. I'm divorced with 3 kids and would never give my boyfriend the title to my home. Possibly even if we got married, either since I want my kids to get it, but if I didn't have kids, I would only sign it over if we were married. Glad it worked out for you. You should have some sort of written will if you don't plan on putting him on the deed to your house. If something were to happen to you, not only will he be faced with being alone and dealing with grief, he will also lose his home at the same time. NTA. I thank God that I didn't put my ex-wife onto my title. She was not able to screw me over when we split.
I don't know if it's just me, but honestly, it seems incredibly sketchy that just as soon as you told him he wouldn't be getting your money, he decided to propose. Like, I'm glad you're happy, but he told you over and over again that he doesn't see the point in getting married. I don't believe it would just be because of the ring. Please be careful.
I can't exactly put my finger on it, but this thing gives me bad vibes.
This is a Friends episode. Chandler kept telling Monica that he wasn't the marrying type. This sent Monica into a tailspin because she always wanted to get married. Only the reason that Chandler was saying the anti-marriage stuff was to throw Monica off so that a proposal would be a surprise. Great update to your other post. So guys who read this know that being anti-marriage to throw your girlfriend off is a terrible idea and can damage a relationship.
3 years of dating and he wants to be put as a beneficiary. Bugs Bunny no but awesome turnaround for the proposal.
This is not a love story. Is a deal between 2 beneficiaries.
Well, it's great if you want to marry someone who would play that kind of trick on you. I recommend having some serious discussions about frank and honest communication expectations in the future. Personally, I would have many reservations about marrying someone who thought deception over such a sensitive topic was the road to a romantic marriage proposal.
Absolutely bamboozling.
So I'm really glad you're happy, congratulations. Personally, I'm kind of appalled that he would mislead you to that extent about his life goals just because he wanted the proposal to be a surprise. I think it's fine if proposals are surprises, but that the idea of marriage shouldn't be a surprise, like you've had conversations and have compatible life goals first, because it's a big decision and everyone involved should have time to think about it. But I hope you guys are happy together.
My true crime consumption has me really worried when he asked you to go on a hike. So glad it was a wonderful outcome.
Wonderful news. I screwed up my path to proposal too. I was talking diamonds and rings a lot while doing research, then when I made the purchase I stopped. I didn't realize that my fiancée didn't know about the purchase, she just thought I stopped talking about rings because I changed my mind. She eventually asked me if I wanted out. I had to show her the receipt for the deposit, which unfortunately had the agreed delivery date on it. So much for a surprise. Lol.
I'm happy this worked out for you. Men, for future proposals, if you thinking trying the throw her off the scent by saying no to marriage idea is a good one. May I suggest you watch Friends, S6, E24 and 25 to see how that worked out. Then remember, real life is a lot less comedy of errors, amusing and more leaving your potential fiancés with the memory of you trying to deceive them. Some people have a better sense of humor, but there's a few out there who'll probably hold on to anything you say in the ruse phase. It's more dramatic that way, lol.
I'm glad it worked out. It seems he went overboard to throw you off. I immediately thought of Chandler and Monica on Friends. Things like that don't always work outside of TV movies, but thankfully for you it did.
He's way too sketchy. He's lucky you believe him, I guess. Best of luck.
Sorry, but it seems too convenient. Maybe I'm just skeptical, but it would only take 5 minutes to scan, change, and print a receipt date. I would go to the jewelry store to check his story. His comments in your original post sound awful genuine to be a mock cover-up. Chandler is unlikely to take a wife. Lol, sometimes we're just idiots.
Is your fiancé Chandler Bing?
I was kind of scared you were gonna say that he took you on a hike and tried to kill you. Congrats. Monica, is that you? Are you engaged to Chandler Bing? Woman facepalming, light skin tone, tears of joy.
Is it wrong of me to still assume the worst? He was perfectly fine with not marrying until he realized he wasn't going to get any money or the house going to him if you for some odd reason died young. And now a marriage isn't so strange to him. This just reeks of suspiciousness.